Okay. Hey, folks. We've been gone a while. Hopefully everyone's doing well. We're going to start our stream here in just a second. We're starting into phase 3 of our story here, and we've got a couple of our players here. Some of our players are not going to be here. One's going to be joining us a little bit late. And she's working on a show at the moment. Let me just quickly check my last text message from her. All right. So, hey folks, welcome back. Happy December. It's getting to the end of the year, getting close to Christmas. We're picking up here with the latest version of our story, and great to see everybody here again. So, today we're picking up our story where we left our party off, where they were at the outskirts of Phandalin, sitting at the main road that leads into Phandalin as it hits the Tybor Trail, where there is another road that they can either go off to the east and join the main road that runs north and south along the Sword Coast, hitting all the major cities up and down that area, or they could have headed off into the east. However, the party has been requested to return to the city of Neverwinter and to bring with them the odd token, the large medallion, the large coin that they had originally found in the mayor's desk when they had done their sleuth mission in there. It has an icon of this large horn on one side, and on the other side is the symbol of the dragon cult. So that token, a very heavy coinage type of medallion, the group has been asked to bring to Neverwinter, where there is apparently a person that would be able to help them identify what that particular coin is. So the party has packed up, and you've gotten to the end of the end of that road. And as you got there, you noticed that there is a couple of small caravans of farmers and peasants with their ox carts and their children and everything packed up in boxes and bales onto these wagons and onto these onto pack mules, whatever they can get their hands on. And they're on their way into the major cities. Some of them are heading into Neverwinter, others are heading down the coastline to either Waterdeep, Leilon, or one of the other cities to the south, maybe even potentially Baldur's Gate. You don't know. The reason being is that the amount of dragon attacks and attacks from the dragon cult in general, or just brigands in general, in the outlying areas has increased dramatically. Farms are getting raided constantly. The livestock are being rounded up and being taken off. Crops are being stolen, and the fields and the equipment being burned thereafter. And anything of value, it seems to be, that these people belong or possess is just essentially being stolen from them along the way as they do this. Your party is standing at the end of this road, as I mentioned before, and as you're standing there, a gentleman comes riding up to you, clearly a member of either a militia or a constabulary. Did we just get another person joining us here? Ah, magnificent. We have our split personality person here with us in the game. It's good to see you.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just starting. We had some technical problems all on our own, so we're just getting started now. You're standing there at the end of the road when this gentleman comes up on a horse and on horseback and says, "You there! Who are you, and where are you off to?"
We
I'll
are the
respond.
Gatewalkers, and we're going to Neverwinter.
At the mention of the name Gatewalkers, you see kind of this look of astonishment on his face. He's like, and he hops down off of his horse and walks up to you. Apologies, I did not realize who you were. We've been dealing with a lot of brigands attacking the citizens as we've been taking them and trying to marshal them back and forth to the various cities to try and provide them some degree of protection and some degree of safety. I know this is asking a lot, but there are a number of you, and we have heard of the deeds of the Gatewalkers. It has been well known in Neverwinter about your exploits and what you managed to do at Icespire. I know this is an imposition, but my men are taxed. We are too short-handed. Would we be able to call upon you to potentially help us bring some of these people to safety?
I think we could do that. Can you tell us who you are first?
Yes, well, my name is Colonel Rhaegar. I am with the militia up in Neverwinter. I was sent there from the Council of Waterdeep. I'm afraid that they sent me there, but the men that they had promised me have still not arrived. Probably, no doubt, fighting skirmishes here and there along the Sword Coast, as the bandits and, unfortunately, dragons have been attacking with little discrimination. I know that this is an imposition, but there are 6 of you. Would you mind if we asked you to escort 2 different groups so that we could get more people to safety? There's another group coming in here in a few hours later on this afternoon. Would some of you be able to leave with the group that's here? I have no men to send with them. But the other group that'll be arriving later on this afternoon, they will be arriving just shortly before nightfall. I would very much appreciate it if maybe half of your group could stay with them and then escort them up to Neverwinter as well.
We
We
can do that.
could. Can I ask why we don't just wait for the other group and go as one large group? Wouldn't that be safer?
Well, you could definitely do so, but some of these people have no food, they have no provisions. There is a small settlement at the crossroad with the King's Road over to the east. I have some men already stationed there to provide a small garrison. It would be best if we could get them over in smaller groups. The larger groups seem to be attracting a little bit too much attention. They are a much larger target and could be spotted from a much farther distance.
Okay. Agreed, sir.
Very good. He bows down deep to you. He says, the next group, he looks over at the 3 that are, he looks over at the dwarf, and he looks at Damien, and he looks at Elrin, and says, I know it is asking a lot, adventurers, for you to stay here to wait for them to arrive, but I do believe this will make a significant difference in their safety. I apologize for not being able to provide you with any men of my own. However, when you arrive at the settlement, the hamlet at the crossroads, just let them know that I sent you, Colonel Rhaegar, and they will make sure that they provide you with a place for your horses and make sure that you and the citizens that you will be escorting have safe passage. He bows back down to both of you, hops back up onto his horse, gives you a salute, and then begins to ride off and gallop down the road. So we're going to split the party. The dwarf and Damien and Elrin are going to stay behind and wait for the second group to arrive. They'll be stragglers, and there really isn't even anybody in Phandalin at the moment that can provide proper protection. So as those people trickle in, the party will also be acting as their garrison. So as more and more folks come in that day, hopefully, if there's anything that happens at that point in those crossroads between Phandalin and the Tybor Trail, that small group will be able to provide them with some degree of protection. The group that you have been put in charge of is just a mishmash of different kinds of families. There's clearly not a soldier among them, barely even a hunter among them. Some are escaping with the clothes off their back. They all have the look of kind of dreariness and with the wearing that having to become refugees leaves on people. And they begin to walk up the road. So let me go and take you guys over to the road, and we'll start our journey. All right.
I just want to confirm that the game is paused right now, right?
I just unpaused it.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I don't want to interrupt the flow.
No. Totally fine. Totally fine. I'm just looking for the right map. Oh, I'm in the wrong... Okay, it would help if I was in the maps. I was looking in something totally different. That's why I was like, why can't I find the travel map? Here it is. All right. Okay. That is not the right map. Let's try this one. There we go. So, in the interest of trying to make things a little bit more user-friendly, what I've got here now, this is a map of the Sword Coast. You guys are kind of familiar with the general topography, so it's not like there's anything here that you're not aware of. However, what is on the map now, if you were to go to scroll back, are the areas that you've actually been through over the various adventures that you have been participating in. The Lumber Camp, Agatha's location, Connieberry, Hamoncost's Temple, so that you guys have an idea of where everything is relative to other pieces. Your objective is to get to the small village, Leith Village. It's a small hamlet basically cropping up in the crossroads of where the high road, the King's Road, matches up with the Tybor Trail. It will take you the better part of the day to go and make that road as you go along. You are on horseback, and as you start to move along, you start to find yourselves in a situation where the day starts to get quite dreary. The sun begins to climb overhead. The wind is pleasant, but there's a bit of a chill in the air as you're moving along. So that's where you guys find yourselves. And while it is nice because there doesn't seem to be anybody trying to shoot at you or to try and kill you at the current moment, you still have the situation where there are definitely you're not exactly seeing anything terribly interesting, because while you see in front of you is the back end of the horse that is in front of you. So as you guys are kind of riding it out, and you can see the different families that are around you, what do you guys start talking about?
Well, we can start talking with He says Colonel.
The colonel's already
Colonel
rode off.
Reagan?
He is not. He rode off
Oh,
ahead.
he's not with
Yeah,
us.
he's taken off like a bolt down the road.
Oh.
Now that you guys are there to act as the escorts for this group of 20, 30 peasants, and it looks to be about 5 or 6 family groups, he's taken off like a bolt to head off down the road. So you are all that really stands between these people and, for lack of a better term, the great big bad world around them with respect to what could potentially happen to them.
I guess we'd be asking about news from Neverwinter.
Okay. There's a small family. They've got an ox drawing a cart in front of them. The mother looking down at the ground with a look of both shock and sadness on her face. The husband, who's driving the ox cart, is kind of staring off into the distance. Doesn't really appear to be all there at the moment. There are 2 children in the back of the cart on top of bundles and baskets, a couple of boxes. They're sitting there quietly, the little girl playing with what looks like a corn silk doll made out of homespun. The boy is basically just banging on the side of the cart with a wooden stick like boys are wont to do when there's nothing else to do around them. Those are the closest people to you.
Okay, I guess I'll ride up next to the cart and strike up a conversation with the drivers, the people up front.
At first, as you drive up, the husband, no one seems to even really acknowledge you. You see the 2 children kind of eyeballing you as you come up. You look quite impressive on your horse. Normally around small children, you usually get some sort of like stares and some sort of interaction. The little girl looks at you. Her eyes kind of open up for a quick second, and then she kind of goes back to her doll. The boy just kind of stares at you and keeps hitting the pole on the fence, the ox cart. The father doesn't even really seem to hear you, but as you begin to ask, as you kind of clear your throat, he looks up at you. Well, aren't you a fancy one? What can I do for you?
I was wondering if you'd heard any news of Neverwinter.
Well, I hear that it's safer than being out on the prairie or farmland by herself. So, I picked up the family and we're heading in. Our farm ain't no more. Nothing left there. Pigs are gone. Goats are gone. Even all the grain gone. Took it all. All of it. And that thing they had in the air. I don't want to talk about that. The little ones still wake up screaming about it in the middle of the night. What they saw, no child should have to see. Terrifying. As he starts to talk, you see the mother starting to cry and starting to shake. He puts the reins in one hand and kind of pats her on the back a little bit to try and calm her down.
And what will you do once you arrive? Do you have family there?
No family. All of our family's gone. My mama, my dad, they died years ago. And and as he starts to talk, the mother starts to cry even harder. Well, my wife's small. She was with us at the farm. And, well, that thing, when it swooped down, I tried to fight him off, you understand. I mean, I'm no coward. I'm no craven. I tried to protect my family. I started swinging my pitchfork around, and my mama she was standing on the porch right next to me, and that's when it swooped down. I didn't even see it, you understand? I didn't have a chance to protect her. All I heard was her scream, and the next thing I know, they were up in the air, and he just let her go. Just let her go. And she landed right there, right in front of the house, right in front of the family, right in front of the kids. The mom, by this point, is now inconsolable. She's starting to sob. She buries her face against her husband's chest. The little girl in the back starts to cry a little bit, and her brother kind of puts his hands on her shoulder and starts speaking to her and trying to calm her down.
Well, we can only pray for peace from here on out. It sounds like it's been very traumatic for you. We're sorry for your losses, and we can just pray for something better once you arrive in town.
Well, thank you, sir. That's right kind of you. Well, you know, I saw that the soldier man seems to know who you folk are. Am I supposed to know who you folk are? Never heard of none of you before. Well, don't mean no disrespect by it, but we do appreciate you staying with us, making sure we get safe to Neverwinter. And I don't know how we're going to make it when we get there, but, well, it's better to try than to stay where we were. Can't keep my family safe there. At this point, the wife starts to really sob even harder, and he goes, well, you excuse me, I gotta tend to the family. He goes back to kind of engaging with her.
Understandable. I ride forward.
So you guys managed to make it about to half day. You all break down to bring the entire group together. You guys stop. The family start breaking out, cooking pots to more food that they'd prepared. They all start munching on their lunches. The husbands make sure that the animals get water and get some feed. The children are off doing their various chores. The women, some of them have very small babies with them, and you see them tending to the children. Do me a favor, all three of you guys, if you could roll perception rolls for me, please. Let me know if you roll over a 20. Wow, Ruger, natural 20. Okay, I think this is a first for you.
Yeah, definitely on perception. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's make sure that your character. By the way, we're using the inspiration rule. I like that rule. So you now have an You already had an inspiration point in there, so you can't get a second one. But you do have an inspiration point, and you can expend to try and get a. That's interesting. That token is turning. Are one of you guys doing that?
What token?
Yeah, the little token that I put on the map. If you guys take a look at the map, that is a collective token. You guys should be able to see the map just fine.
Oh, no, sorry, I can't see anything.
No, it's just a hex with black in the background for me.
It's a hex field.
Really?
There is a token in the middle, I think.
Okay, let me check something here really quickly, because you guys should all be able to see this.
It's got the names of places like the Bay, Lathe Village,
Okay.
an inn.
Okay. They updated the vision rules. But you guys should all have rights to this character, so you should be able to see what's going on.
Okay, now I can see
now we can see a little bit around it.
Okay.
Right.
Like, that much.
Alright, let me change this. If you guys jump... Oh, I see. If you guys jump onto the what's the word I'm looking for? Twitch. If you're on the Twitch stream, you should be able to see everything properly. Now, let me quickly check the owner. You guys all have ownership of this. I'm going to have to change this to observer so you guys aren't accidentally...
Look at you, camera.
What's that?
You got your whole camera set up. This is so cool.
There we go. Yeah, you haven't come on in a while to see this. So, as you guys are seeing, all the areas that are lit up, these are the paths that you guys have taken before. So let me kind of zoom back a little bit and talk. So, like, here's where Icespire Keep was, the Dwarven Mine that you originally entered into. These are the Sword Mountains you guys had traversed up into. Wave Echo Cave, where you'd gone in there. You're aware of the Crypt Garden Forest that's here to the south, and we're on the other side of the Sword Mountains. Axholm, the Dwarven Ruins, the Healer's Windmill. These are all the areas you guys had gone into. You know what the Sword Coast looks like, but I provided this map to give you guys a vision of the things you've actually seen. Members of the party had actually come down from Neverwinter originally when they were helping Gundren come from his compound, which is not too far away from Neverwinter. There's also where Ragnok, Cragmaw Castle, the lumber camp, where you guys had fought the Unkheads that were those kind of scorpion-looking creatures, and Thunder Tree, obviously, the city of Canaberry, the old abandoned ruin, and Hamon's castle, or his temple, where that is there. And there's a few other places along the way that you guys are familiar with that you would know about, including the little hamlet that you're heading to, which is where the Tribor Trail and the High Road end up connecting, which is Leath Village. It's basically just a watering hole along the road that kind of sprang up over the fact that the two roads kind of meet there. And that's where you guys are heading down to at the moment.
Do I still need to roll for perception?
Yes, give me a perception roll.
I don't know how to do that without being able to see my token. Like, I don't know how to get to my sheet.
Okay. You should be able to do that. You should be able to actually open these up. If you go and click on the little icon called Actors in the toolbar, you should see your characters for both Ravina and for Angelina. And if you don't, just let me know. Just go into the dice tray and roll a d20 for me.
Okay. I'm gonna just do that.
Okay.
D20. Roll. My laptop's really slow today.
Okay.
No. Ow.
Okay, that plus your bonuses gets you to 21. Cauldron, unfortunately, even with yours, that's going to be a wee bit weak, unfortunately. Ruger and Angelina, or are you Ravina at the moment?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. You can tell me if you don't decide you're Angelina then, okay? Because you've recovered and you've gone back into your true form.
I do think I think I'm actually in Ravina, but
okay. Well, you were Ravina at the end, but do recall that once you've had a couple of nights rest, you usually revert back to your normal self, and it's been a week at least since your last conflict. So you would most likely have reverted back to Angelina by now. But that can change if you get into a combat. Anyhow, so you guys are, as you guys are sitting there, Ruger, you pick up the sound way off in the distance, and it appears to be coming from the north, kind of the northeast. So basically the direction of the woods, but it's clearly miles and miles away. You can hear the distance. Sounds like a roaring of a dragon. You guys have heard this noise so many times now that it is almost second nature to you when you detect it. Cauldron, you didn't really pick up on that at all, but you did see Ruger all of a sudden snap his head around and look off to the northeast. Angelina, as you're watching the families wandering about, trying to tend to their families and their animals during this little respite that the group is taking, you do notice that some of them are showing the distinct signs of, because you are a healer, of shock. Many of them appear to be traumatized. Most of them appear to be severely malnourished. And you notice that the meals that some of these people are eating are really not much more than the kind of stuff they're actually providing to their animals as well. So it's just barely a step or two above animal feed.
Mm. So, did I heal some of them? Can I?
You can if you would like. As you go around, you see that there's a small boy whose arm is in a sling. And as you observe it, and you observe him, you can see that it would appear his arm is clearly dislocated at the shoulder. You go ahead and cast a spell to heal him and put that shoulder back in place. Most of the other people you are able to help with your medical kit. So as you go about, you're applying general first aid using the healing herbs that you have. But with your spell book, you actually do consume one of your spells to help the young boy reset his shoulder. As you do that, you notice that, because when you cast that spell, it's not exactly subtle. It bathes you in the light of the Lightbringer, and as you channel that through to the child and it goes into his shoulder, you both become illuminated with the holy energy that you're casting, and all the different members of the party, the other families, they start seeing you, and you can hear the murmurs and the whispers, and some of the people start to look a little hopeful. As a result, you see some of the children starting to smile. The little boy takes the sling off, and he goes running back to his mom, gives him a big hug, and she walks up, and she's got tears in her eyes, and she basically keeps bowing to you and keeps saying thank you over and over and over again. And the father walks up and takes the wife by the shoulders and walks her and her boy back over to their cart. And he comes up to you a few moments later after he gets them settled on the cart, and he's got what looks like his hat, his kind of felt hat, and inside of the hat, as he hands it to you and you open it up, you see that there's about 4 carrots inside there, 4 nice big fat carrots. And he says, it ain't much, but I wanted to thank you for helping my boy. He threw his shoulder out. He was hiding up in the attic when the raiders came, and he tried to come down the ladder, and he lost his footing and kind of janked up his shoulder when he landed, and he ain't been right since. I've been 3 days him I couldn't sleep, and my wife been worried sick, and well, I ain't much, but we want you to have this. He gives you the hat full of carrots.
Oh gosh, thank you. It's really not necessary, and we're all here to help each other. Please just take it back and make a nice soup or something. Yeah.
I asked them if they have any like a barrel or like a wash basin, something large for carrying water.
Well, we got my wife's old iron kettle.
That would be great. I want to try something. I want to try to create some food and water for us.
Okay, so he comes out and he's got this big cast iron pot, and it's, the three-legged kind, pot-bellied with a large lip on the top. Looks like it'll hold about, good 10 gallons of fluid. It's hefty, and it seems to take all of his strength, and he's not exactly a small man to bring it out, and he kind of sets it in the middle of the group there. Well, this gonna help is what I got.
That'll help a lot. Maybe we should put it up in one of the carts to make it easier to move once it's got water in it.
Well, I just pulled it down off my cart.
Well, once I put water in, it's going to be hard to move. Your choice.
All right.
I tell the party to bring their... I asked the party members to bring their, water canteens over. And I'm going to cast the spell, Create Food and Water.
All right, so he takes it back over and puts it in the back of their ox cart. And so you want all of the other family members to come on up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To bring something to hold water.
So they come up with, canteens, pots, clay pots, large bowls made out of wood. Some are made out of clay. And the families all sort of gather around there.
Okay.
And you're going to go ahead and cast Create Food and Water?
Yeah, from the spell scroll.
Okay. Are you going to... So you're casting that into the pot? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it'll fill up available containers.
Okay.
So it should go into the containers that you have available. Don't ask me how that works. It's a scroll.
It's a scroll. Understood.
It's magic.
It's magic.
It's magic.
All right. So go ahead and you consume the scroll. So go ahead and take that out of your inventory. And as you create that, all of a sudden you hear, and then the kettle begins to fill up, and you can smell what smells like a big pot of Old Brown. Nice, rich, bubbling pot of stew with turnips and chunks of meat and carrot and onion and celery inside of it, and the smell suddenly begins wafting out of the back of this cart, and all of a sudden, all of the bowls fill with vegetables and fruit and bread and rice, and everyone's standing there looking amazed. And all of the water skins and the canteens suddenly start hanging lower on everybody's hips. And one man cracks his open and takes a big sip out of it, and he goes, "I'll be damned, it's ale!" And so he starts chugging that back, and you see foam coming out of the top, and his wife starts slapping him and telling him that you're going to be driving the wagon in a little bit. You can't be drinking that. But all of a sudden, the entire mood of everybody around you becomes very, almost festive, as people start sitting down and women go running off and grab some blankets out of the carts and start laying them out, and it becomes almost like a picnic. And these people who were just a few moments ago starving have now got a feast around them, and everyone's ladling out and laughing and sipping on the ale, sipping on wine, sipping on water, and ripping up big loaves of hearty bread and sopping up this beautiful brown gravy stew that was in the pot. And everyone seems to be kind of in a different place now. And while you guys are all sitting there on your place, and you guys obviously sitting on your own little area, a little girl comes walking up to you, and she gives you a little daisy that she picked from the grassy area just off to the north of where you guys have been eating. The children are staying very close to the families. I mean, they're still There's still a lot of trauma there relative to what's going on, but they're still within very clear eye shot, and there's right off the trail, there's wildflowers, and some of the children start picking them and coming over and putting them down all around you guys on your blanket. So while you're sitting there kind of munching back and forth, one of the dads comes walking up, who clearly has been enjoying the ale, and he says, "You folk look like you're some kind of heroes, is that right?"
I don't know if hero's the right word.
Yeah, that's a little much.
We're just travelers, but as we go from place to place, we've found ourselves on one side of a conflict between, the forces for good and the forces of the dark and the dragons. So we've just ended up fighting for a long time.
Oh, well, I don't know about those kind of things. I mean, I'm just a barley farmer myself. I don't know how you made this ale. This is good stuff, this ale. It's potent, I tell you. So let me ask you, you like ale, or is this your own family recipe? Where'd you come up with this? What made you give us ale in this? This is fantastic.
Oh, well, I belong to an order, and the brothers of that order, their specialty is brewing. So this is the kind of thing they brew all the time back home. I don't see it much around here, but, we come from pretty far away.
Well, when you say that, he goes, "Well, hold on 1 second." And he runs back over to his cart, and he comes up with a big clay mug, and he pours a bunch of the ale out of the mug, and "Well, here's your creation. You should be having some too." And he hands you the mug, and he takes the water skin and he kind of bumps it up against. He goes, "To your health, sir," and starts chugging down on the ale.
To your health. Thank you, sir. I would be glad to partake with you.
So, Angelina, the young boy that whose shoulder that you had fixed, he comes kind of walking up with his mother kind of sheepishly, and he's got stew all over his face. But the mother tells him to come up and thank you properly. And he looks at you and goes, "Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for fixing my shoulder. I hurt myself falling down in the farm. I want to ask you, could you have fought off all those people who came in and took away my daddy's crop?"
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I definitely can't say yes or no to that, but I certainly wouldn't even be able to try if I didn't have my team with me. You definitely can't do it alone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Daddy was alone. Daddy's big. He's strong, but there was a lot of those bad men. Their coats all black, and screaming. It was so scary. But I told Mom I wouldn't be scared. I told her I was going to fight them, but she made me stay up in the attic, keep my mouth shut. I just wanted to say thank you. And he bows down and kind of starts walking away, and as he gets to the very end, and he goes, "Could you teach me to be a fighter just like you someday?"
Like me? Oh. Yeah, sure, why not?
He gets a big grin on his face, and his mother says, "Now, stop bothering him now. Go on and get to your chores." She looks at you, big grin on her face, and says, "Thank you, ma'am, for being so nice to my boy." And they run off to the back. And Cauldron, you are a bit imposing by comparison to the other two characters who are clearly more human. Your characteristics and your lineage have got them kind of looking at you a little bit sideways. And you notice there's a bunch of children kind of hiding behind the edge of one of the carts. And they keep looking at you. And you can hear them kind of trying to goad one of the kids into coming forward. And the smallest one is a little girl, maybe about 5 or 6 years old. She finally comes walking forward, clearly having been goaded on by the rest of the children. And she says to you, "Ma'am, can I ask you a question?"
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever killed a goblin before?
Yes.
I thought so. I told my brother Billy, I said, "Look at that knife. She's probably killed a goblin or two with it before." My brother says you're part goblin. Is that true?
No.
See, Billy, I told you she wasn't part goblin. She's a nice lady. She's nice, I told you. My brother Billy's an idiot. Ma'am, can you tell me why did the dragons come?
Good question. Take it away. Oh,
That was the
Pause
cauldron.
Well, I think there's some bad people who have teamed up with the dragons, and they're trying to do really bad things.
Are you gonna make them go away?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I wish I had a knife like yours. I'd make them go away. I'd make sure they don't hurt anybody anymore. They hurt my dog Rufus. They killed him. They killed him dead. I hate them. I hate them so much. But you're nice. I told Billy you were nice. I told Billy you weren't a goblin. She reaches around from the back and she hands you a daisy as well. She goes, "Well, I got chores to do. Bye!" And she goes running off, and you hear all the children giggling and like, I can't believe you touched it. It's like this girl's now got like godlike status among all the other children for having been brave enough to go up and talk to the lady whose hair looks like it's on fire. So lunch ends up finishing without... I'm checking. Lunch ends up finishing. There's leftovers. People start packing it up, divvying it around the families. They get everybody put back onto their horses and mules and ox carts and so forth, and they start heading back off towards the west, towards the hamlet. And there's a bit of a spring in everybody's step. Everybody's moving a lot more positively. They're moving a little faster with a little bit more energy, and just the overall mood is better. Some of the kids get out of the carts and run around the carts and come back in. There seems to be a much more positive air of everything as it's going on. Ruger, you don't hear any other dragon noises, it seems, after the one that you initially heard. Let me check here.
Okay, I'll go ahead and send the owl up. If I don't have the owl yet, I'll go ahead and cast
All right.
Find Familiar.
All right. The owl goes up and starts looking around. You've got pretty good visibility. It's a pretty clear day. The sun is shining. It's not raining or anything like that. You can see for a couple of miles on either side of you, which is about, pretty much 1 to 1.5 of these hexes away from the road. So if anything were to be coming through that, it would be pretty easy to spot. However, the thing that concerns you as you're looking at the grass is some of that grass is extremely tall. Easily 3 or 4 feet tall. So if there was an ambush lying in the grass, it would be very difficult for you to potentially see it even from the air unless you happen to be right over top of whatever it is that's hiding there.
Okay, well, I'll have the owl, kind of circle around the party as it goes over the grass, maybe, 8 to 12 feet up.
Okay.
So just kind of like keep an eye out as we go along.
As you do, you can see through your owl's prescience, through the visibility that the owl provides you. As you continue along over the course of the day, you do occasionally see what looks like wild game occasionally scattering off, but you don't appear to see anything other than that in the grass.
Good.
Around late afternoon, as the owl starts going further up, you can just make out Leith Village way off in the distance. And it's quite small. I mean, it's a few buildings and like a small corral for livestock in a barn. Not really much to write home to mom and dad about. As you approach the village, you get to the main crossroads, and you run into 2 pikemen standing there at the entrance to Leith Village, which kind of straddles the crossroads. It's not like it's like on one side or the other. It's kind of like all around where that crossroads comes up. But as you start heading down the Tribor Trail, before you can get to the village behind them, these 2 pikemen are standing on the road. And they see the caravan coming in. They see you guys in the caravan itself. They cross their spears. All right, before you can go in, you gotta give us identification. I can see you got refugees. Who are you folks?
Well, we're the gatekeepers. We're the ones who just fought the battle at Icespire, and we're coming from Phandalin on our way to Neverwinter. Surely you've heard of us.
All right, give me a roll here on. I want to do something with your presence here. So how about giving us
Charisma?
Yeah,
Check.
give me intimidation, although it's not in a bad way in this case. Go ahead and
Right.
give me an intimidation roll.
Well, that wasn't a good roll.
Okay, so you give your roll, and the guy kind of looks at you and goes, Danny, you ever heard of this thing called the Gatekeepers? And the guy looks like goes, huh? I don't know, maybe. I've been out here for days, man. I don't know. Look, we don't want any trouble in town, okay? You have to get off your horses before you get into the city. Walk them all in. Check in your animals at the barn. See the sergeant. Women and children, they stay over at the schoolhouse. Men, you all go over to the bar, okay? You go over to the inn. They'll get you fixed up there. Understand? We got no truck here with people that want to look and cause trouble. All right? So mind your P's and Q's. Keep your weapons inside of the holsters. No drawing swords. No casting spells. Any kind of violation will be met with the highest degree of resistance from us and the rest of the men. You understand what I'm saying?
Certainly.
All right. Okay, we let them through. Yeah, let's let them through. So they part their spears, and you guys go riding on into the town. You get to the town, and there's already a couple of other groups that are there, so it's pretty lively. Now that your group is added, there's easily more than 100 refugees in this city right now. You take your horses over to the barn, and you check them in. There's a sergeant there who basically kind of gives you a little token, basically a small brass token for your horse. He says, "All right, go on over to the inn, and then tomorrow morning come in, get your horse. Is there anything special I need to know about any of your animals? No, these are all real animals, right? I mean, one guy brought in one that was actually an owl bear. Owlbear, I'm telling you, that he turned into a horse. Didn't tell any of us. Spell was up middle of the night. We were cleaning this place up for weeks. And these are all horses, right? They're real horses.
They're real horses.
Yes.
You sure? Okay, look, alright, because I don't want to do that again. Jeez, I got a weak stomach because of this. So he gives each one of you guys your brass tokens, takes the horses, and puts them off. And then all the other families are kind of doing the same. Men and the women go off with the children to what looks like, they call it a schoolhouse. It just looks like a large building made out of wood. Everything in this town is essentially made out of wood. It's like basic, think of something right out of the prairie. This is the little pig that made the house out of sticks kind of situation. There's not a whole lot of depth in what you're seeing here. But you guys do find yourselves heading on over into a pub. All right. Anybody have any questions or anything like that before we head off into the pub?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, hold on a second. I'm trying to see if I can find my pub. I had a pub. I know I had a pub. Where did my pub go? There we are. Huh. All right. Cauldron. Ruger. And Angelina. You now find yourselves in a pub. Oops, hold on. Angelina. That should not be on there. There you are. So you folks go and sit down at one of the tables. And as you're sitting down there, someone comes by and drops a glass of water in front of each of you. The barkeep is, she's interesting. She's about as tall as she is wide. At first, you thought she might be a part troll. Then you realize, no, she's just ugly. And she's running around the inn right now, and the place is packed with people. It's kind of chaos. Everyone's looking for a place to sit, but you guys, with your armor and your demeanor, kind of earn a bit of a private space at one of the tables.
Most of the people there are humans?
Human descendants, like all the different species. You've got some folks that look like they may be half-elven. You got a couple of people that are so ugly you swear they could be half-orc. But and there's some people there that look like they may be of some of the other lineages here and there. There's a lot of people, primarily men. There are a few rough and tumble looking women in the place as well. No children. This place apparently is almost exclusively all primarily men and adults. This is, after all, a pub. The waitress comes running up to you. She's got an apron with splotches all over it. Her hair is up in one of those white, poofy, tied back things to try and keep her hair together, but you see little pieces of it sticking out, almost like spider legs sticking out from her underneath her cap. She's got a large bulbous nose with a large wart on the end of it, which has its own whiskers sticking out of it. Almost looks like it could get up and run across her face. She's missing several teeth, and as she starts to speak, the halitosis is enough to make you gag. But she goes and she looks, she goes, "All right, what do you have?"
Can we get around?
Around the what, sweetheart? We got wine, we got ale, we got water. What do you want?
Let's do ale. I think Druger would like some.
There's no Druger with you. Druger.
Shit, never mind.
You have Ruger.
Okay, Ruger.
Yeah, flagon of ale sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Maury! I need 3 browns! And she goes running off.
We also need a room. Does it look like there's an innkeeper besides the woman running the bar?
Well, she's running around. You see at the far end of the bar, there is a table there. There's a gentleman, and I use the term loosely, working on the other side of the bar. He's almost as big as Bart was, but without any of the musculature. So if you just take sheer mass and molded it out of butter, that's kind of what this guy looks like. He's as bald as an egg, and his head shines from the other side of the room. Deep, dark-set eyes, enormous bushy eyebrows, and a mustache that looks like he's probably eating a cat. But that's the gentleman that you see there, and he's frantically grabbing glasses, going over to the kegs, pouring them down, throwing them out onto the table, grabbing trays of food, cheese, and bread, and throwing them out to the various people, and he looks like he's losing his freaking mind. But he is definitely trying to go and get everybody set up.
Okay, I'll get up from the table and go approach him. Ask about 3 rooms.
All right.
See if he has them.
So you come up to the bartender, and he's like, "Huh? Okay, well, what can I do to help you? Well, you're a pompous-looking one, aren't you?"
Good evening, sir. We just need 3 rooms if you have any available.
Oh, 3 rooms. Would you like turn-down service with that, sir?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Do you look at this place? I've got people coming from all over the town. I got no rooms left. The room you're sleeping in is right here.
I see. Would there be any other accommodations in town, or is this it?
I don't know. How do you feel about sleeping with the pigs?
It wouldn't be the first time.
I like you. No, he starts scratching his face. Well, if you want, you could try sleeping in the loft over the horses. Some people have been doing that. Some people like it. Me, I don't mind the smell. But then again, people don't mind the smell of me.
Well met. What's the charge to stay in the loft?
Nah, forget it. There's nobody who even owns the thing. The guy that owned the bar, Phil's dead.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the advice.
No problem.
We'll sleep it off in the barn if we have that much to drink.
Hey, before you go, he hands over the three mugs of beer. Here's your brown ale. That'll be 3 silver pieces, please.
All right. I give him 3 silver and give him 5 copper for a tip.
Oh, you're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you very much. You see him taking the coin, and as you walk away, you kind of see him like checking the coins to try and bet them, make sure they're real.
Okay, I took it out of my currency.
Cool. As you get over to the table, you notice there's a pretty healthy head on this beer. As you start to drink it, it's wonderful, slightly sweet, very creamy head. Mildly effervescent despite the heavy head that it has, but it does leave a wonderful citrusy aftertaste in your mouth as it goes down. It's clearly lukewarm, as many beers are and ales are, but it is of surprisingly good quality. As you're standing at the table a little bit longer, the lady with the white hat comes running back up again, going, "All right, what are you having for dinner? We got meat, we got cheese, we got bread. What do you want?"
Cheese and bread for the table.
Cheese
yeah,
and bread.
I was just about to say.
Cheese and bread. Cheese and bread. Hey, Maury, 3 vegan plates. She runs off. And as a matter of fact, folks, as we talk about food and as we talk about snacks, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break as we all take a moment to refill our glasses and to get a snack if we need that. All right, it is 3:37 right now. Can we meet back here in 10 minutes? Will that work?
Yes.
10
Perfect.
or 5 minutes?
What's that?
10 minutes or 5 minutes?
Let's go 10. Because every time I say 5, it ends up being 10. So I figured, why not set proper expectations this time? And let's go with 10. Let's go with 10. All right?
All right.
All right, guys. See you in 10 minutes.
You want to eat?
Hey, Dad.
Yep, hold on a sec.
Uh,
haven't got a menu, got stew and ale. got stew and ale. We got beds, but not for him. Oh, goody. Adventures. Haven't got a menu, got stew and ale. Haven't got a menu, got stew and ale.
We are back. We are back. And we are in the bar. Because that's where you should be. In a bar. The bar is getting a lot more full. And the trays of cheese and bread have made their way there. You get another round of ale. And the waitress asks you to please provide another 3 silver pieces, if you would be so kind, with respect to paying for your dinner.
Sure.
So if one of you guys could take that out of your inventory, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
As that happens, you start noticing that, as always seems to be the case at an inn or a bar, there is, in fact, entertainment. And there is a not entirely terrible bard entertaining everybody. He's walking around and taking requests and singing songs and generally trying to, liven up the mood. While your group was definitely in much better spirits by the time they got to the city, the other groups that have come in, not so much. Many of them are just as depressed and downtrodden as your group was before you guys managed to give them that very positive attitude adjustment. However, as he's going around and he starts saying, "Let's play a drinking game!" And everyone's kind of like, all right, we're not doing anything, so why not? So he starts getting people's attention as he moves on from singing the song about the maiden and the bear and the magpie and the eel. He says, okay, here's one. What would you do if you were king? And he goes around and points his finger at the first person. He goes, you there! And he points to this rather scruffy-looking character that you see over here with it looks a bit like a dwarf. What would you do if you were king? And the character looks up from his bowl of whatever he is eating. He goes, I'd make sure I wasn't eating this slop. And he goes back to eating back to it, and everyone kind of chuckles a little bit. And as a result, he realizes that he's on the verge of losing his audience. So he points over to you, Cauldron. He goes, you there, good lady. What would you do if you were King of Faerun? Did I lose Eva?
No. Just put me on the spot.
Come now, don't be shy. Tell us all. We all want to hear, don't we? And everyone starts applauding. Yeah, come on, I want to hear it. Yeah. When some people are like, I don't care. You know. Some people are more interested in following their dinner, but a few people who have already finished and clearly are on their third or fourth mug of ale seem to be quite enthralled with the game.
Probably clear up all this dragon cult nonsense. You know, the dragons attacking everyone.
Ah, yes, the dragons. Those evil creatures flying from the sky. Who knows that they are really monstrosities, or are they the pets of the aristocracy? Very good answer, young lady, very good. And everyone starts applauding, and he plays a few more strums, a few more chords on his lute, and he comes over to you, Ruger, and goes, ah, celestial brother, what would you do if you were king?
Feed the poor to keep them from joining those dragon cults.
Okay, I need you to do me a favor on that one. I
Yes.
need you to roll an intimidation roll for me, please.
I think we're just going to draw out every cultist in the room. At least that's the goal.
Great roll, 26. Very high. As you see that, you see some people look over at you with like a damn straight look on their face. A few people applaud, a few people give you a little nod, and a few people kind of give you the side eye like, really? Really? So you've attracted a lot of attention, both positive and potentially not positive relative to that last comment. But it does definitely get the interest of the group going, and the bard picks up on the momentum and goes, ah, yes, yes, feed the poor, so that these accursed cultists would not be able to swell their ranks with their fastidious lies and their promises of riches and power to those who were powerless. Very wise, sir. Very wise indeed. Why, think how happy we would all be if it were not for the pain and suffering that the cultists have brought upon us. But also, let's look at this, brothers and children. Brothers and sisters, children under Faerun. We would not have this wonderful evening together if were it not for these trials and tribulations. So, with that having been said, I would take more requests. Would you like to hear another song? And he starts going back among the group and trying to get an interesting coin. As he goes around and starts working the room, a person comes up and sits at the table kind of a balding man. Little bit, looks like he's a little bit long in the tooth, and that he's had a rough life is kind of what it looks like. And he kind of walks up and kind of leans into the group. He goes, "Do you really mean that about feeding the poor and making an end of the cultists?"
We've done both recently. So yes, we're deadly serious.
I respect that. I like that. You know, you might not want to say it too loud, though. I mean, there's people around here who I don't know if I would trust if I were you.
Well, there are cowards everywhere.
Yeah,
But
that's
can we? Where do you hail from, sir?
I'm from a small farm just north of here. We wasn't much. We were growing cabbage, you know. And my brother, he was running out a skiff out of one of the small ports up the way. Between the fish and the cabbage, we were getting by, you know. Drop our stuff off here, sell it on up to Neverwinter, sell it on stuff going on down to Waterdeep. These
Sure.
damn cultists come up. Next thing you know, no one's buying. No one wants to come out here to trade anymore. I mean, we got lots of people coming through, don't get me wrong. They're either going up to Neverwinter or they're going down to Waterdeep. But none of them are traders. I tell you, my coffers are drying up. I mean, how am I going to feed my kids? They're going to eat cabbage? That's all they're going to eat? Yeah. Then he gets a really sour look on his face. Lost my brother a few days ago. Went on his skiff. Didn't come back. Now his wife and kids, they're over my place, looking for me to take care of them. I love them, but I can't take care of them. Where's the army? Where's the help? Where the hell are the people that are supposed to be taking care of us? It's wrong, I'm telling you. It's wrong. You know, people have been disappearing left and right around here. Yeah, it's not just the cultists. This started before the dragons showed up. Kept hearing
Really?
about, yeah, people would suddenly disappear. People come over to drop off a horse that had just been shoed. No one in the place. Completely empty. No blood, no struggle. Gone. All of them. Yeah, I'm hearing some, he leans in and a little closer. I'm hearing even funnier stories coming out of Neverwinter. I mean, that place has got problems, you know. And what do you expect? You got a hole in the ground that goes straight down to the netherworld, you know what I'm saying? You gotta expect you're gonna have problems. But, what I'm hearing now, you know, I don't like to spread rumors, but, people, they've been trying to get people up there for years. You go up there, if you want to shop, go up there. You know how to make horseshoes? Go on up. Pick any of the old blacksmith places that open. You go in, set up shop, it's yours. Just go register the place. You're a carpenter? Go in, there's workshops. Tools just sitting there. No one's been using them for 100 years. Go set up, no problem. It's yours now. No money, no nothing. You just gotta try and make a go of it up there. Well, now all of a sudden, people are saying that their kids are disappearing. Their husbands don't come home from the pub. No, that one I can understand. I mean, have you met my wife? Huh. But still. I'm telling you, it stinks. It stinks like the cabbage that I'm boiling down for making synthahol in my house. I tell you, it's something wrong here.
Do you think your brother died or disappeared?
I
Do
don't
you
know.
know how he died?
No, I don't know. But nobody knew how to run a skiff better than him. He was in the Navy for 10 years, knew everything there was to know about sailing. He knew this coast like the back of his hand. And I'm telling you, there's no way. Clear skies, no storms, that guy would get lost at sea. It's not gonna happen. I'm telling you, something else is going on.
Yeah.
Now we got these dragons coming out of the sky, and cultists, these fanatical nutcases. I mean, what do they think's gonna happen? Dragons are gonna suddenly make them their pets? Yeah, right until the time the dragon gets hungry. Stupidity, I'm telling you. So, you guys, you going down to Waterdeep, you going up to Neverwinter?
I think we're headed to Neverwinter.
Yep.
We have some unfinished business there.
Unfinished business? Okay, I'm not gonna pry, man. It's not my job, you know what I'm saying? It's your business, not my business. But, just be careful if I were you. I mean, the road, not too bad. Pretty safe. You know, the closer you get to Neverwinter, the more the patrols are there. Gets safer as you go further north. But, stray off the road. And, keep an eye on your friends and your loved ones. I mean, here in the city, chances are you're safe. Go out there, who knows? I would probably stay inside the villages. Don't go wandering off and try and set up camp. This is not time for doing like a family picnic or anything like that. Just there's too much weirdness going on.
You know anything about who might be behind these disappearing children, disappearing people?
Nah, I don't know, but it all started about 2 years ago. You know, about 2 full seasons ago, yeah. At first it was 1 or 2 people go missing. I mean, that happens all the time, you know. Go out on the water, something underneath the water gets hungry, or, God forbid, you know, you get one of those big, crazy-ass dragons coming down from up north. I mean, there's 2 of them, right? There's the Old White Death, and then there's, what's her name? The one that drives around with the dead mage on her back. I forget her name. She doesn't come down too often. She's pretty safe. I mean, for an individual person. I mean, your cow is a different story, but, you know, for you, yeah. We're small potatoes to someone like her. But, the Old White Death, you know, he would occasionally take people. But this is different. I mean, when a giant dragon comes down and takes somebody, you know it happened. Yeah, and you take a look around, there's blood, there's bone, there's ripped up clothes, buildings are smashed. But these people just vanished, like without a trace. It's like somebody erased them. Rumors I hear, you know, there's pirates going out of one of these ports, taking, you know, pulling in where they normally wouldn't till, you know, just recently. And then all of a sudden, now they're seeing more of them. But, you know, it's sailors. Who knows? Who knows what the truth is, right? You see another woman come walking up next to him. She sees him sitting there, and she's like, Petro, why are you bothering these people? She looks over at you. Don't listen to him. He's not right in the head. You know what I'm saying? And the other guy turns over and goes, I'm telling you, I know what's going on around here. There's something not right. Okay? They get into a little bit of a heated argument back and forth, and she basically puts her hand on his head, her hand on his, and says, "It's okay. I know. Your brother's gone. Maybe he comes back. We're all hoping. We're all hoping." He gets up and walks away from the table after she says that. He goes, "Excuse me." He goes marching off to the back over to the table he was originally sitting at. The woman sitting there at the end of the table goes, "You have to excuse him. He's not been quite the same since his brother vanished. It's really sad. His wife's very upset. Children are upset too."
What's his brother's name?
His brother's name is Dragon. He's been around, well, gosh, they moved up here about 15, 20 years ago. Brother, when he retired from the Navy, came up from Waterdeep, set up a small little setup down on the beach. Oh, about a day and a half north of here. And small, I mean, it's tiny. It's right down on the beach. They live like... they live like beachcombers, you know? They don't have anything. But they were happy. And they were doing okay. then he just went out one day to go fishing and he didn't come back. I mean, it's the ocean. It's not safe. There's things out there, under the water, We're not the top of the food chain out there, if you know what I'm saying. But still, don't read too much into his doom and gloom. He's having a rough go of it. But what about you guys? Where are you guys off to?
Headed to Neverwinter. I'm sure there'll be work for soldiers up there.
Yeah, there usually is. You really have to be careful when you get to Neverwinter. I mean, the city's done a lot better since the hard times, but it's still a rough place. Just be careful. Are you guys going to go up there and set up shops?
Well, we might sell some wares, but we don't have a lot of inventory at the moment.
Oh, that's a shame. It'd be nice to know that the city's growing, you know what I'm saying? It'd be nice. But if you guys are heading up there, what kind of shops are you looking for? I am a trader. I go up there a lot. I mostly do trapping. I catch, fox, and I catch the occasional wolf, and I take the furs on up to Neverwinter and I trade them there. Sometimes I go on down to Waterdeep, but that's a much longer ride than the ride up to Neverwinter. So yeah, I've been sending my stuff up there. What kind of wares are you looking to unload?
Well, we're probably looking to buy as much as to sell. I mean, we have some arms and armor. I have a collection of javelins I'd like to unload. We got some other odds and ends. What do you recommend as far as, armorers or blacksmiths?
I don't really have much of a need for an armorer. Blacksmiths, yeah, because, everybody needs a blacksmith when you break something around the house. But, I don't know, but, probably the Inn of the Flying Griffin is a good place to start. I mean, if you started there, it's, you can just ask anybody when you get to town where it is. It's pretty popular. They usually have lots of room there. You can go and get yourself set up. And, armor, look at me. I'm a trapper. What am I going to use with armor? But the blacksmiths, well, there's one just on the outskirts of town. His name's Sam. I don't remember his last name, but you'll see him as you're riding into town. Oh, it's just before you get to the city walls. Well, what's left of the old city walls anyways. As you come riding up, it's right there just before you get to the town itself. Good stuff. Good skills. Maybe he might be able to turn you on to somebody a little bit more into what you're looking for.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. No problem. Be safe on the road, guys. He may be a little bit of a curmudgeon, but he is right that the roads aren't entirely safe. I mean, it's not the end of the world like he's making it sound, but you look like you guys can take care of yourselves, but just be careful.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah, well, old trappers. We know our way through the woods around here. We know all the paths. We know where to go and where not to go. I've been doing this since I was a little girl up in this area. I know how to stay safe. You guys do too. All right. She goes off and joins the table with the rest of her friends over there at the back. So the evening starts winding down, and it's you notice that the candles, there's not much left of them. Some of the people are starting to kind of pull up into small groups and pulling off into the corners and finding places to lie down on the benches, on the tabletops, under the tables to try and find places to sleep. A few people go up the stairs to the rooms that are already booked and quite full. You can hear that the music is starting to die down, and even the bartender is starting to kind of get a little bit on the nods. And the waitress is nowhere to be seen. She seems to have gone off herself. So what would you guys like to do now that it seems to be kind of winding down for the day?
Probably find some place to sleep ourselves.
All right. Are you guys going to go over to the barn and sleep in the loft like you had suggested, or are you going to try and pull up here in the bar?
I'll probably go to the loft and
Yeah.
watch our pack bags and our animals.
All right.
You know, if Cauldron wants to do some snooping and see what she can find, that's up to her.
Okay. Is that what you're going to do there, Cauldron?
I don't know how much there would be to snoop. I feel like we got like a pretty good general mood of these people.
Okay.
True.
All right. So you guys head across the street. There are guards obviously stationed in front of the barn, leading into the small corral where all the horses are. You indicate that you want to go upstairs and sleep in the loft. They tell you, well, you probably won't be alone. We've got some of our guys already up there. That's where the off shift is. But yeah, go on upstairs and make yourselves comfortable. So you head up into the little ladder in the back, and that takes you up to the top loft area. And all of you go to sleep. Or at least you start making preparations to go to sleep. As you start making preparations to go to sleep, you start hearing from the outside. You hear a lot of commotion coming back from the bar itself.
I'm assuming I'm still in my armor, so I'll go down to the first level of the barn.
Okay.
Just, keep an eye out. Keep my swords handy.
Gotcha. Cauldron.
See what comes out.
You were standing by the open doors to the hay level. As you look down into, I guess what you would call the center of the village, you see the door to the inn burst open. And as it bursts open, you can hear a cacophony of shouts and screams coming from inside of the barn, inside of the inn that you were just in. And light pours out through the doorway into the center of this area of the street. And something comes running out of the door. Make a perception roll for me, please.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. You see
Ooh.
something, it is larger than a person, but you just see this form whip out from the door and suddenly dash behind the building, and you don't get a really good look at it. It was just like you kind of heard, you turned around, you just kind of saw motion rather than anything else, and you see it run behind the inn that you were just at.
Cauldron is going to get closer to see if she can help.
Okay. You can jump down from where you are and jump down into the street if you would like to. All right. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay. As you jump down to the street, that is a 10-foot drop. Give me an acrobatics check, please. This is easy, 12 or better. Just don't fumble. You just want to make sure that you land and gracefully roll out of it. Give me an acrobatics check, please.
Yep, working on it.
That is a 10. So you land with a curious thud, but you only take. You would normally be taking damage, but with your uncanny dodge capabilities, we would say that you don't take any damage, but you're off balance. So it takes you a moment to recover. As you're recovering, that is when Ruger manages to make his way down the stairs. So Ruger is now just about 15, 20 feet behind you. The two guards freak out slightly as you land on the ground in front of them. They had already had their poles out pointing in the direction of the inn as they heard the yelling and screaming coming from the inn on the other side of the city, the other side of the opening area in the main part of the village, about 30 feet away. You land, and let me see what their reaction is. And, oops. I almost closed Foundry. That would have been bad. All right. You startled them both, but they basically just they kind of yell a couple of curses, and they're like, "What was that? What is it?" That sort of thing. But it doesn't appear that they don't perceive you to be a threat. You know the general direction of where the object or the person or the thing made off to, but what you aren't sure of is what it was or how far it's gone, but it's clearly in the trees behind the bar, behind the inn. And no one from the inn is coming out. They're all yelling and screaming. There's a bit of chaos coming from that area. So how would you like to proceed?
Cauldron is going to move towards wherever she thinks it is. Maybe like try to get another good look at what it is first.
Okay. As you get to, and I'm assuming you're going to be stealthy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Making it over to the front of the inn, you don't need to use any kind of a stealth roll. But as you come around the edge, as you look down the side of the building in the moonlight, you can see that there are trees way out in front of you. And as you look out around the corner, you don't see anything moving or anything like that. There doesn't appear to be anything at all. There's just a large opening area. There's some rocks. There's some trees. There's a small picnic table. And that seems to be it.
Is Ruger coming with me?
Ruger, what are you going to do, sir? You were about 15 feet behind her. You can easily dash and catch up to her where she's standing stealthily looking around the corner to the area behind the inn.
Yeah, I'll come up to Cauldron and activate my divine sense. See if I can pick up on like a fiend or something fey.
All right. Divine sense. Go ahead and turn that on, please, sir, if you would be so kind. Let's go ahead and kill the inside music from the inn at this point. All right, so you have divine sense turned on, where you can detect the undead, celestials, or fiends. You do not detect anything within a 60-foot radius of where you presently are standing.
Okay. I whisper that to Cauldron.
Angelina, who was not necessarily prepared, is a little bit behind you guys, and she catches up to where you are next to the edge of the building. And knowing Angelina, she will target the three of you, going, "Hey guys, just to be on the safe side, let's do this." And she casts Aid on the three of you. At least I am trying to. Here we go. Oh. I have to target, not just select. There we go. That's why. All right. She casts Aid. There we go. And as a result, all of you should have Aid turned on. Cauldron, you should have that on now. Your hit points have been increased. Druger, whoops. You have it actually twice. That's interesting. Ruger, you have Aid turned on. Okay. And Angelina has Aid turned on. Okay. Let me check something really quickly. That's interesting. She should have... That should be this. Okay. Okay. Check your hit points, just make sure that calculated out correctly.
That's right.
Yeah. Because it wasn't increasing your hit points automatically there, sir. I had to do that myself. Okay?
Right.
Awesome. So let me Cauldron. You can see in the dirt and the dust that is right behind the right next to where you're looking, in the path in the direction where this person, thing, entity ran. You can see that the dust and dirt has been disturbed. So something clearly ran by there not too long ago. And what you see in that clearing, let me pull you over to the clearing. Are you going to walk around the edge around to the back side of the building so you can see the clearing a little bit more openly?
Yep.
Okay. All right. That being the case, let me bring you guys into this scene.
I'm going to cast a Shield of Faith.
All right.
Since I don't have a target at the moment.
All right. So Cauldron. Pay no attention to the grid's a little off, all right, in terms of the scale. But you see an opening. Like I said, you see some stones, and there's like this stone picnic table here at the end. There's some rocks over here with some toadstools. There's a bit of an open sandy area here. And other than that, it appears to be kind of empty. You can hear the wind whistling in through the trees and the leaves rustling, but other than that, you don't hear anything or see anything.
Cauldron is gonna slowly advance into the clearing, like still stealthily.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's get. I assume you're moving your normal speed, right? Which is 30
Yep.
feet?
Yep.
Okay. So that would take you to right there. So let me move you there. Or actually right there. Okay. Move you there. There you go. There's your 30 feet. Give me a stealth roll, please. Not the best stealth roll you've ever rolled. So as you get to the end of that walk, you trip, and over what you don't see is some, looks like chicken wire that someone has left out that would normally be used for like tying up the doors on a chicken coop. You didn't see it in the darkness, catches up in your feet, and you trip, and boom! You almost fall directly down, and you kind of do this awkward stumbling as you do there, and you make a bit of a scene, and it's quite obvious that you're there as a result. So yeah, not exactly being stealthy, but fortunate for you, nothing seems to be happening. About this time, so hold on. Ruger, are you going to follow her?
Yeah. I let her get ahead,
Okay.
most of the way. And then Angelina and I come around the corner.
Okay, so you guys...
She'll should be running, but what I'd like to do is get the owl and send it, towards the trees ahead.
Okay.
And see if it can catch up to something if it's still on the run.
All right, so let me give you your owl. Boom. There is your owl, sir. Your owl is there. He is not glowing, even though he's supposed to be, but that's fine. No big deal. All right. So your owl is now in the air. He's about 10 feet up per usual. Do you want him to go higher?
Yeah. Take him up about 30 feet and send him forward at a fast pace.
Okay.
So
All
the
right.
equivalent of an owl dash.
All right, so let me go and move him out about 60 feet. I believe that is his max flying speed. Is that not correct?
I think so.
All right, which is right there. So as he begins to fly up, you... Hello there. Good to see you. Glad to have you back. Ah, Damien. So, sir, we don't have you in this particular match at the moment, so you can kind of follow along as we're going through. You and Elrin and Druger are in a slightly different adventure at the moment, which you will be hearing about next week.
Copy that.
All right. So, you notice as you're looking down that there are a bunch of footprints or scuffle prints and seem to come to this general area, go around in a circle several times, but then don't seem to leave the area.
Okay, I start advancing in that direction, and I'll try to use my blind sense to see if maybe it's gone invisible or
All right.
maybe they're still there.
All right.
And then
So
I'll
if you're
just
going to walk, you
start
can
the owl circling.
you can go right there next to Cauldron if you want. That's 30 feet if you want to move yourself up.
Okay. I'm assuming Angelina's going to come along.
Yep. And Angelina is going to come up right next to you. So Angelina is going to come up here on this side.
Okay.
All right. So as you guys, you use your blind sense, and you do not see anything.
Okay. Just keep advancing.
Okay.
Did anything else register on his divine sense? Now that he's closer to whatever it is?
Nope. No detection.
Yeah, I tell the party. Just can't make out anything after, 40 feet ahead of us, 60 feet ahead of us.
Okay.
It's like they just stopped and disappeared.
All right. Moving the owl first. Where do you want me to move the owl to?
The owl's just going to start circling now.
Okay.
In like a large circle around the clearing.
Okay.
So maybe clockwise.
Let me put him over. I'll put him. Let me double check. What's his? 30 feet. Okay. All right, so let me move him over here. So he begins his circle from there. What would you guys like to do?
I was going to keep advancing.
Okay. 30 feet is right there. Okay.
I think I'll get my swords out.
All right. Angelina comes up right next to you. Cauldron, what would you like to do?
Cauldron will advance as well.
Okay. Alrighty. Both of you, please roll a perception roll for me, please. And I'm going to have to do this as an open roll so you can see this.
You want one of us to roll for
Ooh,
Angel?
Cauldron, very well done.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks more normal.
Yep. Angelina has one of the worst perception rolls she's ever rolled. Angelina's like, there's nothing out here. Cauldron, you notice that the disturbances, the impressions in the ground don't exactly look like feet. They almost look like they might be hooves. You put your divine sense on your, what is it? What, Shield of Faith. Sorry, that's what it should be. Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith. Where is it? Shield of Faith. Because it doesn't look like it kicked on. Let me target you. There you go. Okay. What does Shield of Faith do? Because I haven't seen any of your specs change. I want to make sure that it's running.
It's 2 AC for a minute.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not increasing, so let me change this manually. So for... There we go. It's actually, now you've got the right AC, but it's not showing for you. Let me try that one more time. There you are.
There it goes.
Yep. Yep, now it's in effect. And that will last for 2 minutes, right?
Oh, I just had it up. Hang on.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yep, so it's up and running. Okay. Let's see. The owl can now move up to here. Again, he's not seeing anything. Go ahead, Ruger. Where do you want to go?
Just keep advancing towards the footprint things.
Okay. 30 feet would be right here.
Okay.
There you go. Angelina's
Nothing on
gonna pull in next to you.
Nonsense.
Yep. Cauldron.
And so will Cauldron.
Okay. Oops. Sorry, that was me. All right. At this point, would everybody please roll for initiative? All right.
Wow, you beat the owl. That's fast.
Yeah. Well, Cauldron. If anybody would beat the owl, it would be Cauldron.
Of course.
All right. Cauldron, you get to move first. What would you like to do?
Since we're nearing the edge of the end of the clearing, probably roughly about here.
Perfect. All
You
right.
wanna hit for the shadows, maybe? I don't know.
Ruger, your owl, what would you like him to do?
Check out that other smaller clearing and maybe traverse the area between the two.
All right. Do you want to put him? Okay, right there. Perfect. I see what you're doing. All right. Well, let me
Maybe a
go
little further.
All right, Ruger, your turn. Sorry, I wasn't advancing the combat.
Yeah, I'll get up here by Cauldron.
Okay.
Keep trying to look around. I guess I'll do an investigation check.
Sure.
And
What,
see,
would-
see if it
on,
turns up anything more about the hooves or the footprints or the.
all right, give me a roll real quick. Give me an investigation check. 13. You notice that the hooves, now that you're getting a closer look at them, kind of look almost square-ish. And
Huh.
yeah, they're almost, well, kind of look a little like holes left from like a fence post.
Huh. I wave Angelina over. Our way.
All right. But before you can do that, all of a sudden the table, the picnic table, attacks Cauldron.
Oh, we're in Wonderland now.
So, Cauldron, as you are walking up towards the table, all of a sudden it turns around and squares itself up, targets you, and then runs towards you as fast as it possibly can. Alrighty. +6 to hit. Alright. Here we go. Have to do this manually, the old-fashioned way. And he rolls... that shouldn't have been you. That should have been him. So let me try that again. So that's 18 plus 4. 18 plus 6. Okay, so here we go. Let's try that again. There we go. He rolls a 24. What is your armor class?
Less than that.
All right. So all of a sudden, as you're walking towards the table, it runs forward towards you and runs squarely into you, doing 2d8 plus 4 damage, which is...
Ouch.
Well, that is if it would actually hit her, which it's not going to do. It would do 10 points of damage, but...
Uncanny dodge.
Uncanny dodge. Alright, so uncanny dodging you do. Oh, or you're going to use evasion.
Evasion doesn't work that.
Oh, that's right,
It's
that's
only
right.
on
Yeah.
area of effect
Right.
spells like fireball or dragon
Alright,
breath.
so instead of him doing 10 points of damage, he does 5 points of damage to you as you get clipped by the stone top of this picnic table as it rams into you. And he
Yep.
continues past you onto the other side.
Cauldron is gonna shout, in Primordial, because that's the language that she knows. Hey, what was that for?
Alrighty. It does not stop. It keeps on going. Angelina's turn. Did we have Angelina back? We do not. Hey, so tell me, what would Angelina do at this particular time?
Kenji, do you want to chime in?
What do you think the cleric would do at this moment as she sees a picnic table rushing towards her?
It doesn't sound like anything she can charm or hold, right? Like a hold person probably wouldn't work. She would know that. So I guess she would, do like an attack spell, like maybe her, what's that called?
Planar lightning? Or
Spiritual
that
weapon?
too.
She can summon the spinner. She can do both, actually. Well, she could do planar lightning. That would be quite potent.
Though if she's aiming at it, I don't know. I don't remember the range of it. She might hit Cauldron.
If she has a critical miss, it is a possibility.
I was thinking a spiritual weapon will allow her to still
that
be
sounds
free to
good.
do other things
All right.
on another turn.
All right, so she casts spiritual weapon. And she summons forth the Warhammer from her... where is that? Where's spiritual weapon? There it is. Always prepared. All right. There she goes. All right. And the attack. And she rolls a 21, which hits the table. Meaning she does 10 points of damage. The hammer flies across and slams into the stone. You see stone chip off and fly away from the table, and the table stutters a little bit with having just been struck. And that is the end of her turn, if I'm not mistaken. It is a bonus action, so technically she could cast a cantrip. She could hit it with another spell if she'd like, because that is not a concentration spell. Would you like her to fire... Hey there, Cauldron, you're in combat.
Angelina.
Sorry, you are in combat.
Oh my god.
Yes, so, but you're just catching up. You're being attacked by a picnic table.
Like a wooden picnic table?
With a stone top, which hurts like hell when you run into it. Ask...
Wait, is someone holding the picnic table? Or is it just a table?
The table just ran into and rammed Cauldron, and is now heading towards you. You just hit it with your spiritual hammer, Warhammer, but it clearly is... not responding to it is what it is. It is doing its thing.
Alright, okay. Alright, okay. Sorry, this is so... What did I come into, you guys?
Yep.
I'm gonna... Okay, it's a wooden... It's a stone. So... You know what? I'm gonna just go with my weapon.
Okay, so you're gonna take a step towards it and then and hit it, because you still have movement left.
Yeah, because it's wood, so I mean, it's wood, but it's also stone, so I don't think my fire stuff is... No.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll your attack, please, with your Warhammer.
Warhammer!
Yes.
Okay, well, I got a target then. For it. Right?
Yep.
Warhammer!
Click attack.
What did I do? Oh, wait.
That
Oh
will
my God.
miss.
Oh my god!
That misses. All right.
Sorry.
Cauldron. You've just been hit by an errant table that is now flanked. So you now technically have
Well, that's different.
yeah. I'm looking for my convenient effects and I'm not seeing it. Ugh. It's fine. You have advantage over it because it is actually flanked.
Awesome.
Oh, that will do. That will hit. And I'm assuming, let me guess. Sneak attack?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I figured. Alright, here we go. Roll your attack. 15 points of damage. Ugh. So you, as it runs by, you drive the tip of your dagger into the soft wooden underside, and you dig and get a really solid purchase on the wood as it comes by, and you just see splinters and sap flying off as your blade kicks into it. Very good
And then she
strike
comes
there.
back. And then Cauldron comes back and do I not have the fine looking rapier? I guess I need to.
You should have the fine,
wasn't it?
You should have the fine looking rapier, which would be your rapier +1 now. Yeah,
I
rapier
just didn't
+1.
have that in my bar.
There we go.
There we go.
I can't believe you guys are being attacked by furniture.
No, I feel like a Beauty and the Beast or something.
There you go. 19. Go ahead and give me the damage, please.
Well, Cauldron's turning the tables on them.
Oh.
Couldn't resist.
Oh. As you stab it with the rapier, you see its legs go. And it goes. The legs splay out, and the tabletop falls flat to the ground. The table is now, as it should have been in the first place,
A table?
it's dead again?
Lifeless.
It is lifeless, the way it was
inanimate?
supposed to be in the first place. It is now dead.
Okay, I look at the spellcaster and the Kenyasi, and I just say, does this have a handler? Is there someone controlling?
Yeah, where's the controller?
Exactly.
I seen the owl looking for someone, hidden, operating this thing.
All right, so as you guys are flying around looking for the, I can hear my own voice coming back. As the owl is flying around looking for the handler, the people come flying out of the inn with torches and pitchforks going, is it out here? Did you kill it? What's going on? There's just absolute chaos as everyone's running around and looking for what this freakish table that just ran out of the pub. And you guys find them. They find you guys standing over the table itself, and they're all looking at you with like looks of just being absolutely incredulous. Like, what happened? What was going on with this crazy thing? Did you guys kill it?
Yes.
We stopped it. I'm not sure.
People.
I'm not sure it was ever really alive, but we stopped it.
So as you guys are all there, you see the big burly bartender guy come up. You can see his shiny head in the moonlight and his red hair and this almost preposterous, like it looks like two foxtails are growing out of his nostrils. As he comes up, all right, get out of the way. What's going on here? Right, well, my table. You
Okay, I
killed
try
my
to ask.
table.
I try to ask the crowd, what did they see in the inn?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We were all sitting around. Everybody was starting to get ready for bed, and all of a sudden, the table you guys were sitting at starts running around, slamming people up against the walls inside of the bar. We got people with broken arms in there.
I'm so sorry. What did it say anything to you guys? What's going on here? We're just as confused as you are.
Did it say anything?
Didn't
It's
say
a table!
I know. We understand. Well, it's not alive anymore. So let's get back in there. Let's see what the damage is.
All right, so you guys go back over to the table, back into the bar. The table itself, you examine it. You can't really tell anything out of the ordinary. It is the table you were sitting at. And it now appears to just be broken wood, leather straps, and a stone tabletop. As you guys go back into the bar, you do see a couple of people that are injured, unfortunately, including the person that you guys had originally seen. The guy had come walking up to you, kind of the curmudgeonly fellow. He's holding his ribs and he seems to be coughing up a little bit of blood. And he's, I'm okay. It's okay. It's fine. I'm okay. It's fine. All right. It's like he ran into me, but the wall broke my fall. Okay. I'm fine. He starts coughing up more blood.
Can I take a look at the area that the table was at and see if I see anything?
Certainly. So go ahead and give me a perception roll. Do you want to do a perception or an investigation? Give me, in this case, give me an investigation roll.
But my perception's really good.
Okay. But you're looking for something in particular.
Okay.
All right. That's more of an investigation. You're looking at the spot where the table was. Okay.
I'll do an investigation also. I'm curious.
I think I accidentally did it with disadvantage, but it's fine.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation roll there.
Ruger.
All right. Ruger.
Yeah.
What am I
Why
still?
am I doing so bad today?
You notice on the ground where the feet were that there is a slight shadow on the ground where the feet from the table used to be. And as you get in there with a little bit closer into the shadow, and you pull your dagger out and you kind of play with the tile. As you start to work with the flooring, the tile, and the wood that makes up the floor, you pull out a tiny little sliver of the crystalline material that you first found way, way back in the fortress outside of Xenopus's caverns, and that you've seen in some of the other summoning areas before.
So it's a summoning area.
And with that having been dropped upon you, that is where we will end today. And we will pick up next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, right here in the inn where you are standing there holding this small silver of what looks to be crystal in your hand, as there are people that have been run over by a stone table in the inn. All right, folks. See you guys next time. Thank you very much. I had a great time. Hope you did too. We will see you here again. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.